Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the next episode in our Fallout 4 Deep Dive series. And with the new Fallout TV series just around the corner, I figured today we'd spend some time talking about the memorable Vault-Tec Representative from Fallout 4. While he doesn't play a huge role in the Fallout 4 experience, I think it's safe to say we owe it to him that the sole survivor secured a spot in Vault 111, leading us to the events of Fallout 4. Now, before we get started, if you're new here, please consider subscribing for more Fallout content and be sure to check out our deep dive playlist after watching this video. We've covered several vaults and other interesting characters up to this point from our Fallout 4 adventures. Lastly, be sure to check out my Twitch and YouTube live channels as I tend to broadcast 3 days a week and love connecting with our fans of the Fallout series. The links of those are down in the description below, as well as my other social media and Discord links as well. But without further ado, let's get into some Fallout. As mentioned in our opener, today I decided I wanted to spend some time talking about the Vault-Tec Rep from Fallout 4. I think he's a character that the players, and I mean, when I say players, I really mean myself, tend to skip out on and not think much about whenever we're playing the game. During our playthrough here on the YouTube channel, though, I've really come to the realization that he does actually play a much more pivotal role in the grand scheme of the plot of Fallout 4 than he gets credit for. When reacting to the Fallout TV show trailer earlier this week, it really clicked in my head what a pivotal role the Vault-Tec Rep actually plays in the Fallout 4 universe. Not just for like us, the players, but for the sole survivor and his family. And who truly knows what the representative actually experienced in those 200 years? We know he was extremely lonely and very depressed, and that information is based on later interactions with him at the Rexford Hotel in Goodneighbor. But when seeing the ghoul in the trailer for the TV show, it really got me thinking, what kind of life did these guys have before the war? What did they experience post-bomb drop? And what happened to their families or friends? And it really gave me a new perspective on why there was such excitement when the Vault-Tec Rep sees the sole survivor later on in the Rexford Hotel in Goodneighbor. So my question... Before we look further into the Vault-Tec Rep, I want to remind you guys, we're referring to the Fallout Wiki, so be sure to check out any Fallout questions that you may have about lore or characters over on the Fallout Wiki page. It's a great website put together by amazing Fallout fans. But without further ado, let's get into it. The Vault-Tec Rep began working as a salesman for Vault-Tec 20 years before the events of Fallout 4. And for reference, that's approximately meaning he was employed around the year 2057. He was recognized as a door-to-door salesman for Vault-Tec, and he assisted with finalizing paperwork for families that were pre-selected for entrance to their local vault. We learned in a later interaction he was to win a bonus pack of steak knives for his work during his last route through the Commonwealth. And if we review the service logs at the Red Rocket truck stop closest to Concord, we'll find that the employees found the Vault-Tec Rep to be irritating, describing him as an uppity asshole when getting his Vault-Tec van serviced once a month. And if we fast forward to the day that the bombs fell, the Rep was doing his rounds in the neighborhood of Sanctuary Hills, which, as we know, that's where the sole survivor's from. If you've played Fallout 4, I mean, of course you know this, because we were literally introduced to the Vault-Tec Rep within 15 minutes after creating our character. So, I mean, this should be common knowledge, but just thought I would clarify there. But as we know, he visited the sole survivor's family, having to attempted to speak with them several times before when the game takes place. But upon being greeted at the door, he informed them that due to Nate, or the sole survivor, whatever we name our character, his service in the U.S. Army, or if we play as Nora, her husband, Nate's service in the U.S. Army, that they had been pre-selected for entry in the Vault 111. Now, during the introduction of Fallout 4, and despite working directly for Vault-Tec, the rep was unable to secure a spot within any of the vaults, including Vault 111, which is closest, location-wise to where he was. And he's immediately denied entry, although he states he works for them. When the soldiers in power armor don't allow the rep entry, he runs off, claiming he would be reporting them for this incident. Although he was unable to secure a spot inside of Vault 111, the Vault-Tec Rep managed to somehow survive the nuclear blast from the Great War. The nuclear blast actually mutated him into a ghoul rather than kill him. We learned from our interaction with him at the Rexford Hotel that the previous 200 years were very difficult for him. He managed to live for about a year within Sanctuary Hills while his only companion was Codsworth, which we know from our initial interaction with Codsworth after we leave Vault 111 was pretty standard, attempting to clean and manage a bombed household. So we know Codsworth wasn't much of a companion to the Vault-Tec Rep. Eventually, the Rep discovered Goodneighbor after being denied residence in Diamond City. An urbanized community located right in the heart of downtown Boston was a far cry from what Diamond City offered. But was founded by those exiled from the great jeweled diamond. Although this earned him a warmer welcome than he was used to in new towns, it did little to ease the trauma of the past centuries. We discover this when finding him. The Rep tends to confine himself to a room in the Hotel Rexford within Goodneighbor. When the sole survivor discovers the Vault-Tec Rep, we're shocked and surprised to see he is alive. Our initial interaction is full of shock and awe as the Rep almost immediately recognizes us, but is confused as to how we've not aged one bit since he's seen us last before Vault 111, before the bombs fell. Once explaining our predicament to him, we learned that the Vault-Tec Rep was completely unaware of the experiments Vault-Tec was conducting on Vault Dwellers. Well, at least that of Vault 111. When interacting with the Rep in the Rexford Hotel, all I could think of was, what life did this man have before these insane events? What happened to his family? Why did he choose to stay in the Commonwealth? And what level of betrayal he must have felt after those bombs fell and he was denied entry into Vault 111 or just any vault for security, safety. Whoa, there's our buddy. I walked away from this interaction with the Vault-Tec Rep with more questions than answers. While we don't really get any official answers like what happened to his family, why did he choose to stay in the Commonwealth? Did he ever report the events of Vault 111? I find the Vault-Tec Rep to be an interesting character because he leaves us with the questions. And it really humanizes the ghoul transformation experience to think he was a human pre-war with a life, possibly a family, likely with goals and ambitions. Well, at least the goals and ambitions of getting steak knives, but it makes us really think about the direction and changes in his life and what his future now holds within the Commonwealth. At least I started thinking of these questions after I seen the trailer for the TV series. So thanks, Walter Goggins, for humanizing the Vault-Tec Rep more than he already was for me just from this trailer. Thanks for tuning into this week's Fallout 4 Deep Dive. Let me know down below, have you ever thought of the Vault-Tec Rep? Or was he one of those one-and-done characters for you while playing Fallout 4? We'll see you next time on our Fallout 4 Deep Dive series. And until then, be safe while adventuring out in the wasteland.